Parashat Pinchas. In this parasha, in the Aliyah of Chamishi, it says that Moshe Rabbeinu, וידבר משה אל אדוני לאמור, יפקוד אדוני אלוהי הרוחות לכל בשר, איש על העדה. Moshe Rabbeinu knows he's about to leave Am Israel. That's it. It's already the 40th year. He's 120. Hashem telling him he's not going to Israel, but he wants to take care of Am Israel. Who's going to be the next leader? He wants to see him. He wants to put his hand on top of him and give him bracha v'atzlacha. He should continue, right? So he's asking Hashem, יפקוד השם אלוהי הרוחות לכל בשר, איש על העדה, אשר יצא לפניהם, אשר יבוא לפניהם, he should take them out to the wars, he should bring them back, ואשר יוציאם, אשר יביאם, ולא תהיה עדת אדוני כצאן אשר הם רואים. I don't want this nation to stay in the limbo like no leaders. Now, there's, no leader, it's very dangerous. Somebody has to lead them, right? So it shouldn't be even a gap. He's going to pass away until they choose a new leader. The leader should be already in his life. So you should know he's giving away over the kingdomship. ויאמר אדוני משה, קח לך את יהושע בן נון, איש אשר רוח בו. You want somebody as a leader? Yeshua ben Nun, your student. ושמחת את ידך עליו. Put your hand on top of him. והעמדת אותו לפני אלעזר הכהן. אלעזר הכהן, right, should anoint him. ולפני כל העדה, and everybody should see it. וציווית אותו לעיניהם. ונתת מאודיך עליו, you should give from your glory on top of him, למען ישמעו כל עדת בני ישראל, so everybody should listen and see that you agree for his nomination, for the new nomination of Yeshua ben Nun. Okay? The Rashi brings down, why is Moshe asking in this parasha about this? So Rashi says, because of the story that happened just before, the 5 daughters of Shlofchad. They came and they asked to have an heritage in their father's goods, right? Usually a girl does not get Yerusha, only boys. But once they came and Hashem said, yes, you can give them. So he said, oh, it's time for me also to ask for my children. So he wanted his kids, Moshe Rabbeinu had 2 kids, Eliezer and Gershom. Gershom and Eliezer. So he wanted these 2 kids, one of his 2 kids to take over his leadership. But Hashem is telling him, no. I didn't plan one of your kids. I want you more to take Yeshua ben Nun. Ish asher ruach bo. He has like a spirit. His spirit is good for the Am Yisrael. The question is, really we don't hear about the kids of Moshe Rabbeinu. We just hear they were born, right, in Egypt. He's about to take them to, they were born in Midian. He's about to take them to Egypt. One of them, Moshe Rabbeinu almost got killed because he didn't circumcise one of them. And that's it. We don't hear more than that. We don't hear more than that. So the question is, did they study Torah? They didn't study Torah. Were they Chachamim? They were not Chachamim. We don't have any information about them. So for sure the Torah doesn't give any details when it's not necessary for us to know. If it's not something we should know, the Torah doesn't go into details. The Torah gives you exactly the details you should know. But I think that for sure they were studying Torah. It's impossible. If you're in the generation of Moshe Rabbeinu, it was impossible not to study. Well, what are you going to do? Play in the playground? When Moshe Rabbeinu gives a class of Torah, everybody's coming. You have 1.5 million men, right? And 1.5 million women, for sure, without exception, everybody, especially Moshe Rabbeinu, Who are you going to study more than Moshe Rabbeinu? Imagine Rav Ovadia comes today, right? Into the world. Who is not going to go to this year? Everybody's going to go this year. Men, ladies, kids, everybody. So for sure, it's impossible they were not Chachamim. It's for sure that the kids of Moshe were not Chachamim. And they might have been even Nevi'im, who knows what they were. But Hashem, for some reason, decides it's Yeshua taking over. It's not the one of the Zekenim, not his kids for sure, right? So we have to understand, right? We have to understand what's the Ma'ala, what was the advantages that Yeshua had over all the Chachamim, all the Nevi'im, over the kids of Moshe Rabbeinu. What did he have special that other people didn't have? And especially when the Midrash is telling us, Yeshua tipesh haya. Yeshua, no chokhmah. He had no chokhmah whatsoever. Right? The only thing, he says, if I have no chokhmah, I should go and sit and at least fix the tables, fix the chairs, fix the books. So he would come every shiur of Moshe Rabbeinu, just before the shiur. He would put all the chairs, all the tables. He would put all the books. Everybody comes, finds a book, right? And everybody leaves, right? Everybody goes. So everybody leaves the sidurim on the table. It's like, oh there, everybody please put the sidurim. So he says, no one needs to put the sidurim, no one puts to put anything, I'll take care of it. So he stays, he comes before and he stays after. So Hashem says he deserves it. Why? Why this is just because of that? Just because he fixed the sidurim, he put back the sidurim, that's why he became the leader of Israel. There's so many chachamim, so many older people than him. So Rav Mordechai Ezrahi, he says the following thing. Moshe was qualified Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe was a Navi. Moshe was a Melech. Moshe was a Chacham. We don't say Chacham Moshe, and we don't say a Melech Moshe, right? We don't say Moshe Rabbeinu. What is the title of Rabbeinu? It's the only one who had a Rabbeinu. Rabbeinu is our rabbi. Rabbeinu is our rabbi. He's teaching us Torah. This was the quality of Moshe Rabbeinu. And this, he says, was the quality of Yeshua bin Nun. How? So he brings down, Rav Ezrahi brings down a Gemara. There's a famous Gemara in Brachot that says about Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa was a big miracle maker, right? He did a lot of miracles. But the Gemara says he was very poor. He was very poor. And Rabbi Hanina, what would he have to eat? Dailo bekav shel charuvim, like he had half a kilo of a jam made out of boxer, charuvim. Boxer, right? Boxer jam. He would do this a whole week. He would take a spoon, one day, one spoon, 2 days. That's all what he had to eat. He didn't have more than that. Dailo bekav charuvim mishabat leshabat, erev shabbat leshabat. But kol haolam kulo, the whole world was nizon, was fed thanks to Rabbi Chaim ben Dosa. If there was any money in the world, if any gold, any diamonds, any wealth in the world, was thanks to Rabbi Chaim ben Dosa. He was poor and everybody had a lot of things, right? But it's thanks to him. How is it possible? If he was bringing the shefa, he was bringing the abundance from heaven. How is it possible he was poor? Because Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa dailo. Mazet dailo. For himself, he said, I don't need more than that. He said to Hashem, I don't need more than that. As long as everybody can have abundance, I don't need more than that. So basically, Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, he could have had more. And the Gemara says even, he prayed to Hashem one time, and Hashem sent them from heaven a leg of a table, completely gold. A piece of gold, huge piece of gold. His wife told him, no, we don't need it, give it back. So he gave it back. So he said, I don't need, dailo. Lo, for myself, I don't need more than that. But, this is me. I want other people to have bread, milk, eggs. I want other people to have abundance, gold, silver. I want other people to have. This was the idea of Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. This was the quality of Yoshua bin Nun. Yoshua bin Nun, why was he fixing the tables? Why was he putting the books to learn? Why he was setting? Because Yeshua cared about the Torah of other people. He wanted other people to learn. He says, he is not able to learn. But at least let me make that other people should learn. So if I'm not able to learn, like the Midrash says, tipesh haya, so at least I want other people to be able to learn. So he was making sure everybody should learn. So this is the quality of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, he's teaching us. Moshe was here to teach us, right? So Yeshua was helping us to learn. So Hashem says, if anybody is going to take over, he's not the biggest Chacham in camp, not the biggest Navi in camp, is somebody who assures that other people can learn. So basically, if you care about others, you deserve to be the Manig Israel. Manig Israel is caring about others, not caring about yourself, your personal interest. If you care about other people, this is what qualifies you to be the next leader of Am Israel, right? There's a few examples like this, right? In the Gemara, right? Over here, for example, there's a Gemara in Brachot. The Gemara in Brachot in Daf Yudchet Amud Bet. The Gemara says a story about Shmuel, Kinach. Where is this? Avuad Shmuel, the father of Shmuel. One of them are Rav Shmuel. Nachon? Avuad Shmuel, the father of Shmuel. He was taking care. He was like apotropos. When people died and they left with orphans, like young orphans, he would be taking care. It's like he would take care of their orphans. So he would take the money, would invest it, right? Would make money out of it, would feed the poor, the orphans, the young orphans. When they get married, he would make sure they have money for to get married. He would make sure the money to work, to have a job, right? But when he passed away, when Avuad Shmuel, the father, passed away, no one knew where he hid the money. There was no banks. It's not like he has a bank account, right? So he had to hide the money. So he's taking care of this orphan, this orphan, this orphan. So he hid the money somewhere, and then they didn't find the money. They didn't find the money where it is. So what did everybody start to say? He made money out of the orphans, and now he took the money for himself. The problem is, Shmuel was embarrassed. Everybody says, oh, your father, what a thief. You know, he was taking care of so many orphans, so many families, and the money disappeared all of a sudden. And Shmuel told him, I don't know where my father put the money. He never told me. What does Shmuel do? He goes to the cemetery, and he says, Abba, where are you? Abba. So they told him, Eze Abba tam chapes? Who is Abba? There's so many fathers over here. No, I'm looking Abba shel Shmuel. My father I'm looking for. Oh, okay. So they told him, you have to wait. You have to wait because your father just now left to the yeshiva of upstairs. He went to learn Torah. You're going to have to learn for him to come down. The Gemara says an interesting thing. As he was answered this, he says over here, he saw Chaziel Levi. He saw another rabbi called Levi, which passed away also. Chaziel Levi de Ativa Brai. Levi was sitting outside the yeshiva Shel Mala, and they didn't let him go in to the yeshiva to learn Torah with the other chachamim. And Levi was a big chacham. And he asked, Amay Ativ Tabrai. He asked Levi, why is sitting outside? Why they don't let you go inside the class? So he told them, you know why? Because in my times, right, there was a rabbi called Rabbi Efes. And I didn't go into his classes. And Rabbi Efes felt very bad that I don't come into his class, right? So therefore, when I came to Yeshiva Shel Mala, they punished Levi and they told him, all the years that you didn't come into the Rabbi Efes class, you're going to stay outside of Yeshiva Shel Mala. How many years you stayed out? 10 years, 15 years? For 10, 15 years, you're going to stay outside. When this time is up, we'll let you go into the Yeshiva Shel Mala, right? Then, meanwhile, as he was talking to Levi, Shmuel, the father of Shmuel comes down, and he's laughing and he's crying, right? So he told Abba, why are you crying? He says, you know why? Because very soon you're going to come to me. You're going to come up there. Oh, and why are you laughing? He told him, I'm laughing because I'm proud of you. You're very chacham. In the Yeshiva Shel Mala, they talk about you. They say, wow, Shmuel has, Avuad Shmuel, he has such a son, he's chacham and everything. So I'm very proud of you. So they're very proud of you. So Shmuel says, if they're proud of me, and I'm chashuv, and I'm important in their eyes, do me a favor, Abba. Go up there and ask them if they can accept Rabbi Levi to come into the yeshiva. If I'm chashuv, I want Rabbi Levi to come into the yeshiva. So Shmuel, his father went and asked permission, and they told him, okay, for your son, because he's an important Torah scholar, we're going to bring Levi before time to the yeshiva Shel Mala, right? This is the story. The truth is, this Gemara is referring to another Gemara in Ketubot Kuf Gimel. Over there in Kuf Gimel, the Gemara speaks about Rebbe just before he passed away. Just before Rebbe passed away, he gave a tzavah, like he gave order what to do. One of the things he said, right? He asked Chanina bar Chama Yeshev Barosh. He asked the rabbi called Chanina bar Chama. Rebbe is asking that Chanina bar Chama takes over the yeshiva. So Rebbe is passing away. He's the Rosh Yeshiva.
He was chavrusa with them.
Yes. So he was asking that Chanina bar Chama takes over. But Chanina bar Chama lo kibel. He says, no, I cannot take over. Why? Because my friend Rabbi Efes is 2 years older than me. So because he's older than me, I cannot be the Rosh Yeshiva. I'm younger than him. So Chanina bar Chama says, let Rabbi Efes become the Rosh Yeshiva. But because I'm older than him, I cannot go into his class. So Chanina bar Chama sat outside the class. Rabbi Efes became the Rosh Yeshiva. Chanina bar Chama sat outside. Levi wants to go inside the class, says the Gemara, and he sees Rabbi Chanina bar Chama sitting outside. Ask him, Rabbeinu, why are you sitting outside? He says, it's not kavod for me to go inside. He's younger than me, but he deserves it more than me. So Levi sat outside with Rabbi Chanina bar Chama. This is the story. And because he didn't go to the class of Rabbi Efes, this is the continuation of here in the Gemara Brachot, that they punished Levi not to go into the Yeshiva Shel Mala. Right? So that's what they say. the Torah, דברי תורה, עניים במקום אחד, ועשירים במקום שני. So it's ketubot is the, brachot is before ketubot. But really the story begins in ketubot kuf gimel, right? Anyways, the Mefarshim, they bring down something interesting. They say, what do you see from here? Levi, Shmuel, right? He's hearing that soon he's going to die. He could have started crying and asking, no, ask them please to give me a chance to live 10 more years, 15 more years. I have to study more Torah, I have to teach. No, he's not that. He doesn't care about this. But when he hears that his father is telling him, Levi is punished. You're chashuv. And Levi is punished. No, please, Abba, could you go up there and tell them to accept Levi? I don't like the fact he's sitting outside. I want him to go. And a leader cares about others. You care about others. Others should have good. Others should study. Basically, he wants Levi to go to yeshiva to study. He's sitting outside, not studying with the yeshiva. So he cares about other people's study, right? So this is one important thing. We should always care about another Jew learning Torah, right? Some people would run another Jew should put tefillin, should give tzedakah, but really a leader, right, is caring about other people studying. And what does it mean? So over here I saw, what does it mean? It says the following thing. It says, you bring a story that there was a big Rav in Israel called Rabbi Iser Zalman Meltzer. Rabbi Iser Zalman Meltzer, one time somebody came, a young boy came to him, he says, I saw in Pri Megadim, Rabbi Yosef Tomim, I saw a big chidush. He was telling it to the rabbi. So the rabbi says, I don't believe you. Pri Megadim never wrote this. He says, Rabbeinu, what are you talking about? I show you. He goes and he pulls the book and he shows to the Rav, right? So he shows the Rav and he sees he was wrong. He says, oh, what? Rabbi, how do you know it's wrong? He says, I didn't see this Pri Megadim. But as I learned Pri Megadim and I saw he has a certain way of thinking throughout many halachot. And I saw this is not the way, what you said was not the way of thinking of the Pri Megadim. So that's why I said it cannot be him, right? So he said, when you want to give over something, you have to make sure that what you're giving, we're giving over from, right? Make sure this is what he says, right? He says they bring down another story. They bring a story that came of Chaim Mibrisk. They came to him, and somebody said they told him how do you call them? No, Rav Chaim Brisk came to lodge to a city, and he was looking for minyan for Kriyat Torah. Right? So somebody told them, Talmid Chacham was there. He says, Rabbeinu, we have 6 people that didn't hear Kriyat Torah. We can read the Torah. We can take out the Torah for 6 people who didn't hear, even though 4 of them heard. So the Rabbeinu, Rav Chaim Brisk called them, no, but the how do you call this? The Chaya Adam is mistapek. If you have Rov, maybe you need 10 people that didn't hear Kriyat Torah. So this Talmid Chacham told them, yeah, Rabbeinu, but the Ran, Rabbeinu Nisim is the Rishon. The Chaya Adam is 100 years ago, 150 years ago, what? Not even 100 years ago. And Ramban, right, the Ran is almost 1,000 years ago. He brings a Ramban that says that you can read Kriyat Torah berov asara. With rov asara, right? So Rav Chaim Brisk told them, I don't believe there's such a Ran. Such a Ran does not exist. So the Talmid Chacham went to the bookshelf and he took out the Ran and he showed them, look, Rabbeinu, look, he says it fresh. So he told them, you see, you're wrong. After he writes over there, the Ran writes over there, right, that for Kaddish and Barichu, it's enough rov asara. And then you have to put a comma. But for Kriyat Torah, you need a sarah. So the way he read it wrong. He says, wow, Rabbeinu, did you know this Ran? He says, I never learned this Ran. It's the first time I see the Ran. He says, so how do you know it's a mistake, right? So I know the Shitat Ran. The Ran would never say such a thing, right? So they say over here, you know what's important? You know why is Yeshua important? Because Yeshua, bin Nun, he was always fixing the chairs and table. What does it mean? You know what it means? Look, when Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem tells him in Parashat Balotcha, Moshe complains, oh, it's too much for me. I cannot take care of all these people. They always complain. What does Hashem tell him? Go choose 70 old people, Chachamim, and I'm going to give from your Chochmah, I'm going to transfer a little bit to them, and they'll be able to help you. We don't find that Yeshua bin Nun was part of them. Yeshua bin Nun was not part of them. right? Eldad u'Medad mitnabim b'machane. Yeshua never had nevuah, right? How is the Seder Alimud? How did they study Torah when Moshe Rabbeinu went to Sinai? Or every time Hashem speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu? How did he give over the halacha? You know how he give over the study, the halacha? First of all, he would call Aaron, Elazar v'Itamar. He would teach it to them. After Elazar v'Itamar, he would call the Zekenim, the elderly, the 70 Zekenim. He would teach it to them. After he teach the Zekenim, he would call Am Israel. So basically the Torah was learned in stages, right? But we don't see that he called Yeshua. Where is the part Moshe kibel Torah miSinai u'Sara liYeshua? We don't see that. We see Mesara, he gave it over to Aaron, Elazar v'Itamar, Zekenim. We never see that he sat down with Yeshua giving him over. They say, it says over here, you know what? He never said it to Yeshua. You know why? Because Yeshua was fixing the tables. But what does it mean? That when Aaron and Elazar came, he was fixing the tables and listening. When the Zekenim came, he was still there fixing the books and listening. When Am Israel came, he was there listening. There was not even a second that he was not there listening. He was listening the whole time, and listening and listening. So basically, he got to know the way of thinking of Moshe Rabbeinu. That Moshe Rabbeinu, what is the thing? Teaching Torah, teaching Torah, teaching. So that's why he's a Mekabel. He knew how to give over Torah Moshe Rabbeinu, right? So they tell you that a leader, right? If you want to be a leader, you want to give over Torah, you have to have, first of all, a Rav, aseh lecha Rav, make yourself a Rav, make yourself a Shita, make yourself a way of studying. Let's say you follow Rav Ovadia, so study the books of Rav Ovadia, Yabia Omer, right? The Alkut Yosef that brings the Rav Ovadia. Follow the Shita, right? Follow the system. How does the Rav think, right? And then think about others. You want to be mizakeh others. Sometimes, I'm not comfortable. No. Rav Ovadia used to go all over Israel to teach Torah. He would go on bus. He would go on a bus. He would go he would go an hour drive, an hour and a half drive in a bus, right? He would sit there in the bus, learn, but he would go to teach Torah, right? So if you want to be a leader, you want to be somebody giving on Torah, that's only if you have a shita, you have a way of thinking, like your Rav is thinking, the shita that you took, and only if you're passionate to give it over. If you want to be a Navi, you want to be important, it's not going to work, right? Yeshua was Zocheh. Though Moshe Rabbeinu's kids, probably they were very Chacham. The reason we don't talk about them, because there was big Chachamim at that time. There was big rabbis at that time, right? We don't talk about them because they were like others. They were not more than others. Maybe they were big Chachamim, but they didn't deserve to take over their father's place. Why? Because we never see that they were like running after people to teach them Torah. The only one who was running after people, not running, it means making sure other people study, is Yoshua ben Nun. How? By fixing the tables, by fixing the books. So that shows that he wants to be a moiser. He wants to give over, and that's why he was okay to take over Israel. Be'ezrat Hashem.